I won in both divisions, sometimes come second to the number one, but that's only because that was in the senior division and the guy was 9 years my age, older than me. So I always pushed myself in that manner. And in our last 2 years, I've been doing very well in Africa continent as well, taking 2-time silver medal, the Africa Championships.
No, very interesting. Julian, the mental conditioning part, I think it's quite key in something like judo, because a lot of the time the fight is won or lost before they even get onto the mat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, specifically in South Africa, the sport kind of dwindles from a mass following in the junior levels, and then as you work your way up, you really find 1 or 2 who really make it in the sport. So I want to kind of direct that question to Zack and say, when we're talking about mental conditioning, what sets a great judo player or athlete apart from the average judo athlete?
That's a very good question. At the end of the day, it comes up, what do I want? Because your coach can give you the best program in the world, but if you don't apply it with everything that you have, wanting to achieve better, wanting to be better than the guy next to you, and this can be applied in any sport, but you must push yourself more than the next guy. And when you have a Sunday off, if there's something you can do, you must do it. If you have that mental push yourself, and that's no one can learn you that. That is something you must have, something you must want. That is going to make a difference between winning and losing, and just that little bit difference you need in a fight.
And that obviously helps with setbacks and challenges as well, I'm assuming. That's
very true, because time in the game, there's going to be what I like to call speed bumps, where everything goes so nicely and then just the one thing that mustn't happen, happens. And being able to cross over that is very important. And then for me, I believe in the support structure. The people that support you, the people that helps you come over those things, because you're not alone in that race. There is always people helping you forward. The federation, personal people, everything in your life is going to determine that point where you're going.
Let me see if I can bring it back, Gus. Those are quite key things you're saying, and very good and interesting questions, Julian, because one of the things that I'd want to ask, in light of what you've just said, is at the 2014 Commonwealth Games, you went in there and you were definitely not the favorite to take gold in your classification, but you got gold. How did you manage that, and how did you manage the expectations that people had of where you'd land up and post getting the gold?
Well, to add what the mental thing is, like a month before that tournament, I was at the Africa Championships and I came 7th. Now that is very bad for me, going into the tournament, losing so many fights. Actually, I had one, because we have team events as well at the Africa Championships. I had 5 fights, only won 1 match. Now you must understand that's very difficult for an athlete to accept that he can do well in the next tournament a month later. I mean, you can train hard, but a month is just a month. So I went, actually, I'm a sponsored athlete at HBC of Pretoria and Tufts University, and I went to see one of the sports psychologists, and I talked about, I know I'm better than the player. I'm walking off the mat, losing the match, and knowing I could have beaten this guy. And that happens a few times. And then the word is doubt. Doubt is in anybody. Everybody has doubt. And the more you think about it, the bigger it gets and the more power it gets. And if you doubt yourself when you're competing, especially in a fighting sport, the other guy is going to beat you, because you're walking on a mat not convinced that you have a chance of winning. And that was the biggest challenge. Okay, the sports psychologist really helped me in that department. Just few small exercises you must do on a daily basis to practice your mind as if you would practice your body. And that made a difference, going on the mat, feeling confident in myself, knowing my techniques are strong, and then just applying it, taking a fight for fight, and not looking to the country, looking to the player, what he does. Not how good he is, what he achieved before, but what is his techniques, what is his way of gripping, for instance. And I made a game plan towards that specific guy, and I just executed the game plan, and it actually went my way.
Sounds fantastic. You sounded like a motivational speaker already. Do you do that?
And I had the privilege of speaking to a few schools after my Commonwealth in 2014, but it's not like a thing.
I think it's something you should consider as a thing to do after the Olympic Games. I mean, from what you're saying, those are really key things that you're talking about, the mental preparation, and actually sidelining all of the peripheral stuff and focusing on the task at hand, as in the athletes you're going to be up against on that mat. Never mind, is it from Bulgaria, Ethiopia, Egypt, South Korea, Russia, the person that you're going to be, their techniques, and focusing on that, and also getting rid of the self-doubt.
Exactly. And that can be achieved in any sport. You can take that. Actually in life, you can take that philosophy.
Julian?
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of doing my job for me. That's fantastic. I think Zack is a focused man. You guys you're going to potentially be competing against 21 other athletes. At this stage, there is a lot of kind of doubts around who the athletes are. How are you focusing to really kind of hone in on the guys you're going to be fighting in Rio?
Well, I was speaking to a few people before. Actually, the biggest challenge we have is going overseas. Now, I'm a very privileged manner where I'm a sponsored athlete from the OPIX program from South Africa, and they're really helping me. I had no problems there so far. They're really helping me at tournaments as a small sport. And we have to go overseas. Like I said before, in judo, you don't need to run a certain time or jump a certain distance. You need to constantly go overseas and do tournaments and get points. And South Africa helped me achieve this. And without them and other support structures before them, which I don't have the time to mention everyone, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. And that really makes a big difference going forward.
Yeah, I think, in their sport, they need to compete at the highest level all the time to stay sharp. It's not like you can run at the HBC or you can run in Durban and try and beat your time and get better. This is about staying sharp and meeting the Russians on a regular basis, or at least meeting the Northern and Central Africans on a regular basis.
Also, a tool we use, because we're limited to the international exposure, is luckily there's lots of videos of these top athletes on YouTube, or there's sites, judo sites, where you can go and search for their fights, and you can at least get some feel of how he fights. Now, it's different fighting the guy and then feeling how he fights than watching a video, but at least we can have a plan. Watching a video, seeing he's a left fighter or right fighter or whatever, how he likes to do the grips, techniques he likes to do, and then at least we get some kind of feel of the preparation.
Zack, fantastic. I think we've run out of time. I think it's really good to have you here with us and share your experience as well as your thoughts around Rio 2016 Olympics. We wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming through, and thank you, Julian, for coming through as well.
Thank you so much.
And to the other news, the ABSA Premiership season winds down today with the final 8 matches all kicking off at 3 this afternoon. Mamelodi Sundowns will be officially crowned the ABSA Premiership champions in Pretoria, while Ezenkosi, Jomo Cosmos and Abafana Bestente Maritzburg United clash in a crucial battle to avoid relegation. Meanwhile, Cosmos have escaped with a 200,000 rand fine for fielding an improperly registered player, Thabo Mudiba. They had the risk being docked points.